I'm really excited about this film. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be really hard. And here we go. So, get into it.
Movies that are perceived as having contempt for their audience tend to actively subvert fan expectations in a way that feels dismissive, overly self-aware, or insulting to the intelligence or emotional investment of viewers. These films may seem to mock the very fan base that supported them or undermine key elements of a franchise, leading fans to feel some type of way. Today we're going to talk about 5 films that have straight up contempt for their audience. Let's get into it. Number 5, The Matrix Resurrections. The 4th entry of the Matrix series uses a meta-narrative that openly mocks the idea of reboots, sequels, and fan nostalgia. Characters in the film even discuss how The Matrix has been commodified and reference Warner Brothers forcing a sequel, breaking the fourth wall in a way that left some fans feeling as though the film was poking fun at their love for the original trilogy.
I'm sure you can understand why our beloved parent company, Warner Brothers, has decided to make a sequel to the trilogy.
The film's self-awareness, coupled with a lack of the innovative action sequences that the franchise was known for, made many fans feel like their passion for the series was being treated as a joke.
After all these years, to be going back to where it all started. Back to the Matrix.
Fans saw the film's self-referential humor and commentary on corporate-driven sequels as a thinly veiled critique of the very audience that wanted more Matrix films. Instead of respecting the franchise's legacy, it appeared to mock both the industry and the fans who cared about it. The fact that the closing credit song was sang by someone who literally pissed in a fan's face on stage is comically apt.
Nothing comforts anxiety like little nostalgia.
Multiple times, characters are calling us idiots for even being interested in the movie. Merovingian is screaming at us and claiming our desire for basic entertainment and comfort is destroying art.
You gave us space to suck and couch flex slimy wiki business fat!
This is a childish tantrum of a movie, pointedly noxious in places to drive a point home. This wouldn't be so bad if this were merely a bad Matrix movie, but not like this. Not like this. Number 4. Alien Covenant. Fans of the Alien franchise were hoping for a Covenant to explore the deep mythology of the Alien universe and continue the story arcs from Prometheus. Instead, the film abruptly shifts focus, killing off major characters from Prometheus off-screen and leaning into horror tropes without addressing key questions about the engineers or the origins of the xenomorphs. The film also features overly graphic violence, which some viewers felt was more about shock value than narrative importance. Fans who had invested in the world building of Prometheus and the rich mythology of the franchise felt that Covenant dismissed those elements in favor of cheap thrills and gore. The lack of resolution to Prometheus's mysteries and the disregard for fan expectations showed that the filmmakers simply did not care about the audience's investment in the story.
You're such a disappointment to me.
Number 3. Terminator Dark Fate.
Once, I saved 3 billion lives. But I couldn't save my son.
Dark Fate opens by killing John Connor, the key figure in the entire Terminator franchise, just minutes into the film, effectively undoing the significance of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. For fans who had followed Sarah Connor's journey to protect John and ensure humanity's future, this felt like a slap in the face, reducing his story arc to nothing.
I'll be back.
The film then shifts focus to new characters, sidelining beloved figures like Sarah Connor and introducing another chosen one plot that felt repetitive. By killing off John Connor and seemingly disregarding the emotional weight of the previous films, Dark Fate appears to show a lack of respect for fans who had invested in the franchise's narrative for decades. This move was seen as a cheap way to reset the story without consideration for the fans' connections to the original characters.
I hunt Terminators. And I drink till I black out.
With all that being said, just go watch Terminator 0 instead.
Thanks.
Number 2. Funny Games.
Man, can you tell me what's going on here?
Miguel Haneke's Funny Games, both the 1997 original and its 2007 shot-for-shot American remake, has often been interpreted as a film that expresses disdain for its audience. This interpretation stems from Haneke's deliberate manipulation of genre conventions, his commentary on violence in media, and his direct confrontation of audience complicity in consuming violence as entertainment.
Listen, we're gonna make a bet now.
In both films, a family of three is taken hostage in their summer home by two young men who bet them that they will be dead by dawn, and they're not just big Evil Dead fans either.
You bet that you'll be alive tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and we bet that you'll be dead. Okay?
One of the reasons Funny Games is so deeply unsettling and often seen as contemptuous towards its audience is that it offers no glimmer of hope, redemption, or justice. From the outset, it's clear that the family is doomed, and every possible avenue of escape or resistance is thwarted in the most arbitrary or cruel ways. Even when the audience might expect a climatic showdown or a final act of defiance, Haneke denies them this.
I mean, what do you think? You think they stand a chance? You're on their side, aren't you? Who are you betting on,
The film concludes with the family's total defeat and the killers calmly moving on to their next victims. While offering no closure or catharsis, Haneke rejects the notion that violence in film should be digestible, satisfying, or even moral. This bleakness can feel like an attack on the audience's expectations, particularly in a genre where some form of resolution, whether happy or tragic, is usually part of the deal. It's as if Haneke is mocking the audience for wanting a payoff from such horrific acts. For those expecting a conventional thriller, Funny Games can feel like an accusation from the filmmaker, holding up a mirror to their own voyeuristic impulses and chastising them for their passive complicity in turning violence into entertainment. Number 1. Joker Folie Deux. Stupid title.
Do you remember any of what happened?
Many audience members resonated with the original Joker back in 2019 because it tapped into feelings of disenfranchisement and social alienation. Now, its sequel seems to want to manipulate those who connected with the character's underdog narrative. This movie dismantles the idea of the Joker being a figure to celebrate and examines how movements continue, even after the nominal head is over it. If you took pleasure in our main character's antics in the first movie, you'll find the proceedings this time around more meager and far less satisfying. Here, director Todd Phillips gives fans a come down that essentially punishes them for enjoying the vital energy of the first film. At one point, when we meet this film's version of Harley Quinn, she reads as a fan of the first movie. When she begins a sentence with, "When I first saw Joker," she's referring to seeing Arthur's clown-painted alter ego on TV, but it's phrased to sound as if she's talking about her first viewing of a certain DC movie. She ultimately rejects him for renouncing his Joker persona, and it seems the filmmakers also want us to renounce these movies. The sequel is whatever the exact opposite of fan service is. You could swear this is actually an indictment of those who flocked the Joker in the first place. What a very, very, very odd movie.
He's just absolutely disconnected. He's lost whatever spark he had at the end of the first film, whatever life he had in him at the end of the first film, and we're kind of meeting a beaten down, broken Arthur.
Can I have a cigarette?
Of course you can.